Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I am going to be showing you guys how to complete an application for employment authorization, and this is form I-765. We are going to base this application out of an asylum. So for all of those who have a pending asylum case and would like to apply for a work permit, I am going to teach you guys how to complete this application. Before we get into it, I would like to remind everyone that in order to apply for a work permit based off an asylum application, your asylum application must have been pending with USCIS or the Immigration Court for at least 150 days before you can apply for a work permit. So, although I'm going to focus on applying for a work permit based off an asylum application, filling out this application under a different category would be pretty much the same. The only thing that will change will be the category, and I'll talk to you guys about that once we get to the part where it talks about the category. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that you guys want to do when you come to fill out the application for employment authorization is always check the expiration date right here. And you want to make sure that the application that you're filling out is current and has not expired. If you submit an expired application to USCIS, they will reject your application and they will send it right back to you. So to avoid delays in your case, make sure to always check the expiration date, that it's still valid. And you also always want to make sure to check the addition date that is also current, again, to avoid the application being rejected or returned to you. All right, let's go ahead and get started too. This part right here, as you guys can see, is for USCIS use only, so you'll leave this blank. You don't have to worry about that. This part right here is if you have an attorney, which I assume if you are watching this video, you are not an attorney and you are not using an attorney to help you fill out the application, so that right there will stay blank. All right, so let's go ahead and move to part one, reason for applying. So in this case, for the purpose of this video, we are going to do an initial application. So I'm going to go ahead and click initial. But if you are submitting this application for a replacement of a lost, stolen, or damaged employment authorization card, then you will also use this form only if the error is not due to USCIS error. If it is due to a USCIS error, there are other ways for you to fix that, and all you have to do is go into the USCIS website to find out how to request that they correct an error on your document or on your card if it was due to a USCIS error. If you are filing for a renewal of your work permit, then you will click renewal. But again, we're going to go ahead and do initial just for the purpose of the video. So moving on to part two, information about you. So your legal full name, here is your last name. So I am just going to say Contreras. First name, I'm going to say Maria. If you have a middle name, that will go there. I'm going to leave that blank. Moving forward, any other names that you've ever used in your life will go here. If you've never used any other name, then you can leave that blank. I usually like to put NA, but again, you can just leave that blank and that's perfectly fine. Moving forward, your mailing address. So this is your US mailing address. So it's very important that you put the correct address here because, as you guys can see, is the mailing address. So this is where your employment authorization card will be mailed to. So always make sure you put the correct address here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in care of. Just put an address here. If you live in an apartment, suite, or floor, I'm just going to put apartment 12. We're going to put Houston. And we're going to put just Texas right here. Let's see. Okay. And you'll put your zip code information. I don't know what I just clicked. You'll put your zip code information right there. This question is very important. Is your current mailing address the same as your physical address? So if it is, then you'll click yes and leave this blank. If it's not, you'll click no and fill this out. So in this case, we're just going to click yes. Again, make sure it's correct. If it's the same, then just click yes. Your alien registration number. So this is very important. If you have an alien registration number, you want to go ahead and put it here. It's a 9-digit number and it starts with the letter A. If you don't know what it is, you probably don't have one. If you have immigration documents, you might want to check those documents to see. Those documents usually contain the A numbers. You might want to go back and check. It's a 9-digit number. It starts with the letter A. All right, number 9, USCIS online account. If you have a USCIS online account, then you would put that number here. If not, just leave it blank. All right, number 10, 11, and 12 are pretty self-explanatory. Gender, say female. We're going to say single right here. Have you previously filed Form I-765? So now this is a very important question. Some people get confused by this question. So if you've had a work permit before with a different category, for example, let's say today we're applying under category C08, which is a category for asylum, but you have previously had a work permit based on a different category. Well, then you will click yes. So if you've ever filed Form I-765, regardless if it's a different category or not, you will click yes. If you've never filed Form I-765, then you will click no. All right. Number 13A, has Social Security ever officially issued you a Social Security card? Pretty self-explanatory. If you've ever owned a Social Security card, click yes. If you've never owned one, click no. So we're going to click no here. Usually, if it's an initial application, the answer to both of these questions will be no, unless, like I said, you've had a work permit before based off a different category. All right, moving forward to 13B. If you don't have a Social Security, you leave that blank. 14, do you want Social Security to issue you a Social Security card? So here you must always click yes. If you don't already have a Social Security card, you want to click yes. Otherwise, you will not be issued a Social Security card, and that can become an issue. So always make sure to click yes. Number 15, you authorize the disclosure of information from this application to the Social Security office for the purpose of issuing you a Social Security number. So again, always click yes. If you click no, you will not be issued a Social Security card. So make sure you always click yes. If you're filing an initial application, you have to fill this out right here. So again, pretty self-explanatory. So your father's information. So we're going to put Contreras, and we're just going to name him Jose, and then mom, and we're going to name her Maria as well. Okay. Moving forward to 18A and 18B. So your country or countries of citizenship or nationality. So you must list all the countries where you're currently a citizen or a national. So in here, we're going to say Mexico. If you're a citizen or a national of more than one country, then you must list them all. If you're only a citizen of one country, then just list it there and leave the other one blank. All right, continue with part 2, place of birth. So here we're just going to say the city where you were born. So I'm going to go ahead and type this. Oh my gosh. Okay. State, so it's going to be Jalisco. And country, say Mexico. Date of birth, 1998. All right. So information of your last arrival in the United States. This is the part that most people have trouble with and get super confused. So we're going to go over this. So Form I-94 arrival departure record. If you have an I-94, then you'll put that information here. Again, if you don't know what it is, you probably don't have one, or you should check your immigration documents or look it up, Google it up, and make sure you don't have one. If you have one, go ahead and put it there. Your passport number of your most recent issued passport. Even if it's expired, you want to put your most recent. So we're going to just go ahead and make something up. Travel document, if you have a travel document, you will go ahead and put that there. If not, you can leave that blank. Country that issued your passport or travel documents. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So I have Mexico. Expiration date for passport or travel document. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Date of your last arrival to United States, on or about. So if you don't know the exact date that you entered the United States, again, go back to your immigration documents that you receive when you enter the United States. If you don't have them, then take your best guess. Always make sure to be as accurate as you can. So right here, we're just going to put the date of entry, place of your last entry into the United States. So this is if you entered through a border crossing, you would put the state, the city and the state where you entered the United States for. If you came in through the airport, then the city and state where you landed for the first time when you entered the United States. So right here, I'm just going to say Laredo, Texas, just for this video. Information status at your last arrival. So if you enter the United States with a visitor visa, you'll put V2 visitor. If you entered as an F1 student, you'll put that. If you enter the United States through the border illegally, then you would put no status. So we're just going to put no status. If you enter the United States as paroled, then you would put paroled. However you enter the United States, that will go here. Your current immigration status or category. So for example, again, if you entered on a visitor visa, on a student visa, if you are a parolee, you enter with parole, then you would be a parolee. If you have deferred action, or if you currently don't have any status, or your category. So like I said, we are going to use asylum as a category. So I'm just going to say pending asylum. So you can say pending asylum, or you can say no status, because when you have a pending asylum, you are not in status just yet. So you can say no status or pending asylum, which is what I am going to put. All right. Student and exchange visitor information, that would go here. Moving forward, so this information right here, information about your eligibility category. So here is where you would put the category, the reason why you qualify for a work permit. So like I said, this application will be based off an asylum. So that is category C08. To find out what category you qualify under, you can go to the USCIS website. So here I am at the USCIS website, and they have different types of categories. So here, if you go here, it will show you how to correct an error on your card if it was due to USCIS. And it also has the categories. So for example, category A3 is for a refugee. Category A4 is for paroled as a refugee. Category A5 is for asylee, granted asylum. Category C8, which is the one we are using, is for asylum or withholding of removal. Again, for asylum applicants. And there's just all different categories here. So if you go to the USCIS website, you'll be able to find the category that you are eligible under to apply for your work permit. So you'll find out what category you are, and you'll put that category right here. And these questions are all based off your category. For example, if you put category C3, then you'll have to answer this question right here. If you put category C26, you'll have to answer this question right here. In this case, we are using category C8, so we have to answer this question right here. Have you ever been arrested or convicted of a crime? So obviously, if you have, you'll put yes. If you haven't, then you'll put no. All right, moving forward, it tells you right here, if you entered yes, what you have to do. So make sure you check this out if you responded yes to this question. Again, this is based off your category. If you enter category C35 or C36, then you must answer this question right here and this one right here. All right, moving forward. So applicant statement right here, if you can read and understand English, then you will click I can read and understand English. If you had an interpreter help you out, you would put the interpreter help me out, and you would put your language, for example, Spanish, let's say. If the interpreter translated this document for you to Spanish, then you would put Spanish. If it was a different language, you would put that language here. In this case, I'm going to say I can read and understand English, because if you are listening to this video and you're doing this on your own, you most likely can read and understand English. Applicant's contact information, again, pretty self-explanatory. Your telephone number, mobile number, email address. Right here is your signature and date. Always make sure you sign and you date. Otherwise, it will be returned to you and it will be rejected. And it says it right here. USCIS may deny your application if you do not complete this part. All right, moving forward, interpreter's full name. Again, if you used an interpreter, then the interpreter will fill out this part right here. If you didn't use an interpreter, then that right there stays blank. Again, interpreter's mailing address, interpreter's contact information, interpreter certification. I certify under penalty of perjury that I am fluent in English, and you would put the language that the interpreter translated to. So it would be Spanish, for example, or any other language. But again, in this case, we're not using an interpreter, so that will stay blank. All right, part 5, contact information, declaration, and signature of the person preparing this application, if other than the applicant. If other than the applicant, that's very important. So if you're filling out this application on your own, you do not need to complete this part right here. If somebody else is completing this application on your behalf, then they will have to complete this part right here with their full name, last, first, and if they have an organization, they'll put that, or their business name, their mailing address, their contact information, and they will also have to fill this part out where it says whether they are an attorney or they're not an attorney, and they will have to sign and date. All right, and finally, page 7. So this right here autofills. So this is again your name and your A number. If you don't have an A number, that would be blank, and that's okay. And this right here is only if you need extra space to answer any of the questions above. So I hope this video helped you guys understand how to fill out an application for a work permit. It's very important you guys know you don't have to do anything to get your social security card. If your work permit is approved, you will automatically get your social security card and your employment authorization card in the mail. You don't need to do anything else after you complete and submit this application. Also, if you are submitting an application for employment authorization based off an asylum case, there is no filing fee for the first time for an initial application. If you are doing a renewal, there are filing fees, so you must check the USCIS website to see if you have to pay any fee. Also, if you're filing under a different category, you might want to also go ahead and check the USCIS website and make sure that you do not have to make any payments to USCIS when you come to submit your application. I also recommend going to the USCIS website and checking the instructions for Form I-765 to know exactly what documents you need to submit with your application. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'm constantly posting videos like this to help other people better understand how to complete immigration forms. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.